Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. It's Sunday, right? No, is it Monday? Oh, I think it's Monday. Let me tell you something. The way the days have been passing me up and passing me by, child was like, is it Sunday? Is it Monday? Hello, people on the Clock app. Greetings. Hello, people on my YouTube. Greetings. We're going to get us started here. Go ahead and share, comment, something so I know that you're here. Hello. All right, y'all. So give y'all a second to do that. I always think that it's very important that we start with a good old check-in, a good old one-word check-in. The word for me today is rebuilding. That's the word. Comment a word that is in alignment with where you are, how you're feeling, where you're at right now. Yeah, I'm going to go with rebuilding. And I find that in several areas of my life, I've been in a space of rebuilding. Yeah, and I am not against that. So that's my word. What's y'all's word? See, this is why I don't get on here, because look, the people trying to send me requests and stuff. Decline. Thank you. Yeah, it's going to have to be rebuilding for me. And also giving myself the permission to rebuild. Giving myself the permission to rebuild. That's going to be my word. So I'm going to be looking up and down. Olidra says contemplating. I understand that. Heavy on the contemplating. I understand that. So I'm going to be looking up and down and all over because I have my monitor up here. I'm trying to get used to this monitor. But I also want to be able to see the comments and the things well. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Hold up, man. Okay, I think this is good. Oop, almost. Okay, this is good. All right, y'all. So today, what we're going to be talking about, I've decided to make this something that I do monthly, as just my monthly offering to the community. Because sometimes there may not be anything, any divine lesson to teach on, but there's always a piece of the divine to observe, right? Be it the stars, be it the sun, the moon, whatever you want to look at, weather, nature, there's always something to observe. And so, part of my practice, if you've gotten any reading from me uh, recently, because I didn't used to do this, but I've decided to start incorporating my numerology studies and practice as a numerologist with my clients. Prior to, I was just utilizing numerology for myself, for my friends and family, but now I've decided to open this up a bit. So we're going to be doing this every month, right before the turn of the new month to prepare ahead. So if you have not learned by now or heard by now, heard me say it, heard somebody say it, we are in a universal 9-year, okay? Universal 9-year. And so to get that, you calculate 2 plus the 0 plus the 2 plus the 5. And that will bring us to a number 9. As I've said in my sessions, people lie, but the numbers don't, okay? And there is a universal math. There is a piece of divinity that you are able to calculate because, Yes, God is real. For God is both intangible and tangible. All right. And so we are able to really do the things. Hey, Claude, hey, and look with a level of accuracy. Oh, you like my accessories? Thank you so much. It's giving welcome to spring. Truly, truly. I've been wearing a lot of pink as of late, and I think, it's a good color on me. So I'm going to keep that in rotation. So with that 2 plus 0 plus 2, 5, you can calculate any year, any energy of the year, and thus map out your personal year connected to that. For example, 2020, that comes to 4. We add the 2 plus the 0 plus the 2 plus the other 0. That brings us to 4. That 4 number is connected with structure, foundation, organization, stability, right? Thus, in that year, we had nothing but challenges related to foundations, structures, and stability. In the health aspect, because there's always health attached to those numbers, the 4 speaks of strange illnesses that occur that are difficult to diagnose. In which case is what? COVID. All right. So I say that again to highlight that the numbers don't lie. People do, but the numbers don't. So when we get into this number 9 energy, 1 universally. So this 9 energy is what's affecting everybody. Okay. It doesn't matter, what your personal numbers are. You are impacted by this universal energy. So it's the overarching energy. This is a final chapter of a 9-year cycle. Okay. So I want you to think about life from 2016 up until now. We're closing the chapter. So 9 is a number. Thus, this year is and the energy of completion, of closure, of forgiveness, of karmic reckoning, of spiritual graduation, and it is a culmination. So you are likely to experience things coming full circle this year. All right. So in a 9-year, the world and everyone in it is being pushed to finish unfinished business. All right. It's very difficult for us to move forward without making peace with our past, without tying up the loose ends. Okay? What y'all saying up here in the comments? I was scared of being in a personal year 7 or universal 9. I knew all y'all was going to kick my ass, but now I'm happy because it's what's best for me. And it is always. It is always what is best. Leisure says 2016 was the beginning of my spiritual journey. Yes. Yeah. So expect that you're getting ready to have a graduation. Okay. Expect for this year to be a culmination, end of course exam for the things that you have experienced these past 9 years. All right. So we also know that 9 is connected to chaos. And chaos is divine feminine energy. Divine feminine energy, you know, is horribly misrepresented online in the spiritual space. Socially, it's just horribly represented. They try to make feminine energy and feminine aesthetic the same thing, and it is not. Feminine energy and feminine aesthetic is not the same thing. But this society will have you think that the energy that you're experiencing from me is the epitome of divine femininity because I'm wearing pink. okay, and soft fabrics, and that's just not true. Divine femininity is intuitive, it is receptive, it is creation, it is flow, but it is also chaos. It is both the ocean at rest and the tempest. It is the wildfire. It is, oh yeah, it is transformative. Okay? Part of this nine energy, because it is so hot tempered, it brings fires. We started off this year with fires. Okay? It brings accidents. How many car accidents, how many plane crashes have we been experiencing? Okay? Arguments, rage. That's that nine energy. Okay? And so, but it also, as I said, when we talk about completion, fulfillment, right? In that energy, you also recognize that it's humanitarian. So we're seeing people care come together, communities come together, people from all sides, all nations. If you think about the wildfires that were happening in California, all of the countries were coming together to bring aid to California, right? So this is the year of the humanitarian as well. All right. So there's a lot of things going on. All right. This is not a time to start acting crazy, start acting brand new. Okay. Starting brand new things recklessly. This is the time for us to be tying up the loose ends, paying our respects to the things that we need to let go of, honoring what has been, and making sure that we are making a path, clearing a road for the next evolution, the next 9-year cycle. All right. So when we look at the universal year, we are able to also calculate the energy of the month. So what you do is you take the year you want to look at and you add to that year the number of the month that you want to observe. So this is a 9-year. If we want to look at April, we will add 4 to 9, which gives us 13, which will then reduce to 4. So last month was a number 4 universal month. This month is a number 5 universal month. All right? And so we're going to get into this 5 energy. So, I see a lot of people talk about angel numbers, and I'm not really sure the measurement of that, because when you type in angel numbers, 444 could mean 500 different things. Okay. But what I have discovered following numerology and what the numbers and the energy and the vibration of the numbers, maybe that 555 isn't about ancestor coming in. Okay. Maybe that 555, as we discover now, 5 is the number of freedom, of change. 5 is the number of dramatic change, of movement, of adventure, all right, of a personal liberation and evolution. Maybe you're seeing that 555 because the spirit is saying there's something that is about to change. And the amplifying of that 5 number, right? Or there is something here that needs to change. Now you are able to have a relationship with your spirit team and determine what the signs are and what signs mean what. Okay. But I'll tell you, thank you, Amanda. Google University will have us all over the place. One will say a new baby's being born. The other one is saying you getting a new job. The other one is saying, stay home, don't go outside. You just be like, okay, it's just a lot going on. But as I said, 5 is freedom. Okay. 5 represents the pulse of life because the 5 energy is moving. It is shifting. It is barrier breaking. Okay. And it is in a quest for seeking and discovering a new air. All right. So this is our month of May. And luckily, because we're in 9, that's the last number in our sequence. Every month this year is going to be the energy of the number of the month. So June will be 6, July will be 7, August will be 8. Okay. Calculating your personal number, that's a different thing, but we're just addressing the universal number. Because 5 is speaking to such dramatic change, it's important to know that 5 is the pivot point. May is going to be a pivot point universally. Because it's between that 4, which is about solid ground, foundation, stability, and 6, which is be centered on responsibilities and the home. In 5, we're being asked a question about how we are living our life, or are we just in a space of surviving life? Okay? So, 5, remember, is of movement. This is the vibration, this is the energy of movement, of change, of freedom, of flexibility, of curiosity, of courage, of expansion. All right? And just so you know, if you're like, Darcell, I can't take all these notes. If you're part of the Patreon, I'm gonna be posting all my Cornell note style of my notes. Okay, I'll be posting that in there. Okay. So when we speak spiritually, 5 is asking us to liberate ourselves. 5 is calling for a self-liberation from any structure that is false. And thus, this is amplified in a number 9, universal year, because the 9 is bringing things to a close. The number 9 is about completion. So 5 is going to challenge our attachments to our comforts. 5 is going to challenge our attachment to control. 5 is going to challenge our attachment to certainty. But it teaches that faith is moving when the ground isn't paved yet. So we can say that the number 5 asks us to trust, ask us for trust in motion. Come on, Tim, trust in motion. Trusting that even when you can't see what the entire path is, you know that you're being guided forward by something that is greater, higher, whatever name you give it, your ancestor, spirit team, God, whatever. So like anything, there is a positive side and there's a negative side. The positive side of the 5, it's adaptable. When the energy of 5 is aligned and when it is healthy, you adapt easily to life's changes. You trust spirit's redirection. You find freedom without abandoning your responsibilities. You expand your mind and your body through new experiences. All right? And the possibilities are exciting. You're not scared. You're not paralyzed by the fear of the potentials. A mantra we can hold and have for ourselves is every change is an invitation to become more of myself. Every change is an invitation to become more of myself. Keep that on your tongue as we prepare for May. Now, the shadow side, that's good. Very good. The shadow side of 5, like I said, there's always a duality in the energy. And that duality means there's a choice. All right. So if you're choosing to be in the negative or the shadow side of this number all the time, that's on you. Don't try to blame the number. That's on you. So when the 5 energy is misused, when the 5 energy is distorted, your restlessness turns to recklessness. There's a big difference between being free and being reckless. Okay? There's a big difference between being free and being reckless. One is wellness centered. The other one don't care about nothing or nobody. Not even the self. Okay? How do we tell the difference? Well, first, freedom has an awareness. Freedom is moving with awareness. So you understand the choices that you're making. You respect the consequences. And you're always making sure that what you're doing is operating in alignment with what your values are, what your purpose is. When we are reckless, recklessness is moving without awareness. So recklessness is impulsivity. You ignore the consequences. You don't care. And you often end up harming yourself and or other people in the process. Freedom is moving with awareness. Recklessness is moving without awareness. Freedom urges you to be responsible. Recklessness ignores responsibility. Okay? That's the difference. So if you are saying F everything, more than likely your ass is being reckless. If you start off with saying I don't give up, and you mean you don't about anything, this is a reckless movement. Okay? There's a difference between freedom and recklessness. That recklessness, that avoidance of real work and real commitment, you try to dress it up and call it freedom. That's not freedom. You're being reckless. The risk you take is not a leap towards something positive. The risk you take becomes you gambling with your destiny. The risk is toward danger. Negative energy of the 5. Okay? 5 speaks to chaotic spiraling with no purpose. The negative 5 energy also speaks to being addicted to stimulation. Okay? Always chasing, never grounded, never clear, never rooted. Okay? I'm going to get to that question. Because I got a lot to talk about, so hold on to it real quick or real long because I have to get through some of this. All right, so all of that is connected to the 5. So it could either be a liberator for you or it could be a crash and burn. Okay? And you have a choice based upon what you choose to invest in where you choose to put your energy towards, and how you choose to perceive and see life and the situations. Running from yourself is not called freedom. Running from the truth is not called freedom. That is a mischaracterization. So that's just a little bit about the essence of the number 5. All right. Some folks are number 5 people. And so if your birthday is either on the 5th of the month, the 14th of the month, or the 23rd of the month, you are a number 5 person. Okay. So this is a part of your essence. Okay. So with this universal month 5, let's talk about its impact on the world. All right. Let's talk about its impact on the world. Because it's rapid, because it's change centered, the 5 energy inside of a number 9 year, and that's key. Right? If this was a 1 year, which is new starts and new beginnings, it may not be chaotic. It may not be disruptive. It may not signal endings. However, underneath the 5 year, it brings movement through disruption. All right? And liberation, whether you are ready or not, whether the world is ready or not. Because the 9, that chaos, that feminine energy, the chaos comes when the spirit has tapped you on the shoulder to make a change and you do not. And so it has to force a change for your wellness and for your betterment. So in the political space, because that 5 is liberation centered, you can expect there to be some upheavals next month. Not just America, whatever country, wherever you're listening at this. So if there is a government institution that has been ruled by fear, that's been ruled by manipulation, that's been ruled by trying to force people to do whatever they want them to do, they will find it harder to maintain control of said people. They will find it harder to maintain order of said people. So, be on the lookout for sudden resignations or major political leaders being ousted. Okay? Be on the lookout for that. Not just on the large level of the presidency space, but also in your local government. All right? And local institutions. As it pertains to our alliances with other countries, expect there to be some breaking apart and or some reconfiguring of relationships in unexpected ways. That's that 5 energy. Changes. We may even find that there are new political parties that want to rise up. Because what's happening, and y'all can feel this, the people are no longer wanting to be bogged down by these old systems and these old structures. Especially because these structures and these systems have lost the trust of the people. That's on a political level. So that's religious too. More people walking away from churches and all types of organizations and structures that have lost the trust of the people. we will find that there will be more protests that erupt next month. Okay? It's not just on a single issue. You will find there'll be protests on a myriad of issues. Okay? All that speak to just a fatigue. The people have had it. Okay? And there's a weariness that injustice has brought. And so be very mindful of, in that space, emergency laws or last minute policies, last minute changes that truly just expose how unstable these structures are. All right? We've been seeing a lot of that come up recently in the shadow period of this 5 months. Okay? So we're seeing globally, politically, that people are not going to be begging you to hear them. You're going to hear them. Okay? They're not going to be begging. You're going to hear them. So this is definitely a time for the freedom movements. All right? This is the time for that. So be paying attention to that. Let's talk about the finances. Again, financial markets next month are going to start to mirror this instability. All right? If there is an economic structure that is based on some old models, you're going to see it face some strain. So you can expect some unpredictable swings in the stock market next month. You may find that there are companies that are suddenly crashing. Sudden crashes and followed by a sharp momentary recovery. It's that up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Okay? You're also going to see people talking about cryptocurrencies and ways that they can decentralize finance. So it's the same type of energy, right? Decentralized finance companies, decentralized finance routes, gaining more interest because the people are distrusting in the traditional systems. So we look at the industries that are heavily dependent on oil, heavily dependent on travel, on technology, on the luxury goods. There's going to be some volatility that they face. Okay? So pay attention to what the companies are going to be doing. All right? Because the sense of that economic uncertainty is going to be high. But this is the greater purpose of it. It's going to ask you, what is truly valuable? As opposed to what we've been told is valuable. What can we actually depend on? And thus will shift the people into depending upon those things. All right? That's in the financial market. Let's jump over to technology. So we know that this is a technological world. So many systems, so many things that are run off of technology, child. They shut down. Somebody hacked one system one time and none of the planes could fly. Okay? So we know that we are a country, a world that is heavily, heavily controlled by our technology and our communications. Okay? So, pay attention to cybersecurity breaches. Okay? Pay attention to leaks, hacks, a revealing of hidden information that again shifts the public trust. So what you need to do, update your passwords, make sure you have your stuff secure. Your password can't be ABC12345 6. Okay? Let Google do it. When Google, y'all see them Google passwords, some Apple passwords. Okay? Update that. We also are going to witness breakthroughs in AI. We're going to witness breakthroughs in biotech. And we've already stepped into the space exploration. Right? When they sent Gail King up there. That's me using the same password for all my stuff. Right? And let me tell you this. Me saying this does not saying you're going to get hacked. That's not what I'm saying. However, if this is the energy, we need to do what we need to do to make sure that should such thing occur to us personally, we are already prepared or we can prevent it. Same thing I've told people since the beginning of this year, because of all the accidents in the car and the energy of that 9, that hot-tempered energy, I told you to do workings on your cars. I told you to not get into arguments with people, okay? So you don't get into it with this energy, all right? And get the negative side of it, all right? So pay attention to a lot of software updates, sudden leaps in technology that will redefine what's possible for us, okay? Also, because it's liberation and freedom centered, pay attention to attempts at censorship battles, okay? Escalating because the government is going to really try its damnedest to control narratives, social media trying to control narratives. So be very mindful of that. And you'll see that us on the digital communities, we're going to be finding ways to stay autonomous, find ways to where you're not going to oppress us. We're going to say what needs to be said, and you're not going to be able to control how and what we say. Okay? We may even see that there are new platforms emerging. But all of those are shifts. The internet, even though the internet's already chaotic and all over the place, we will see that in some spaces, the internet's going to become a battleground, and in other spaces, the internet's going to be a sanctuary. Okay? So make sure to be vigilant about that. Okay? So let's move forward here. Even though we kind of touched this a little bit, we're talking about the government or the policies. The social structures are going to change too. Education, religion, you're going to see people or that go through an expansion as well and a shifting as well. Okay? I already know there's so much stuff that they're trying to pass that, you know, we are windmilling up against in Texas. Okay? With education, but we will see that since especially they got a WWE executive as the Secretary of Education. Dear God. Dear God. So, education models are going to be under scrutiny. Okay? Traditional education models are going to face public questioning. You said my therapist already told me they're having to censor words too. Right. So you finna see the students, the teachers, the parents increasingly reject outdated systems that are designed for obedience, that are designed to target behavior, okay, and that is not open to innovation. All right, you're gonna see the people being pissed about the college and about the um uh uh debts and loans. Okay, and matter of fact, let me tell y'all something. Let's talk about where the lie is. May 5th, the Trump administration has announced that the federal government will be resuming student loan debt collections for borrowers in default starting May 5th. Pay attention to the numbers. This comes after a 5-year pause on payments due to COVID-19. Is the lie in the building with us? The 5th month on the 5th day. I'll let y'all soak that in. Okay? Okay? That's that 5 energy. So, as I said, public dissatisfaction will rise against school and educational debt collection. Also, standardized testing. All right? So pay attention to that. Hold on one second. Okay. Oh, that's what the problem is. All right. Audition with this. Also, if y'all want to watch the playback, I'm live on YouTube, okay? Live on YouTube. Oh, your son is a woo number 5 person. Gotcha. So you can watch the playback. All right. Next month is also a time too if you're wanting to find online mentorships, right? Decentralized form of learning. All right. So you're like, I don't want to take a traditional route, or let me do some independent study. All right. Let me dive into a trade. Okay. It's that those less traditional routes of education, we're going to see that start to gain credibility and more momentum. Okay? Because Spirit is asking, what is the true knowledge? Okay? Where's the true knowledge? Let's also restore. Let's restore how knowledge is gained, learned, expressed, and let's liberate information. Okay? So that's why I want y'all to pay attention. This may feel unsettling or like there's a lot going on, but the purpose is greater than the problems. Okay? Let's step to the religion space. You're going to see some faith communities fracture and reveal their true faces. All right? So some churches, mosques, temples, spiritual spaces, spiritualists, religious leaders are really going to be revealed. And remember, you heard it here. Okay? And when it's revealed, it's true. Because it comes to reveal. 9 is also revelation. Not in like in the Bible, just ironic. Okay? You're also going to see those same spaces radicalize or try to de-radicalize and go in the opposite direction of radical from the sense of freedom, okay? Or go deep radical in the sense of religious extremist behavior, okay? So they're either going to be really free or they are going to tighten their dogma up, tighten their theology, cling harder to hell, fear-based control, or will start demanding the people be in a stricter adherence. And there are others that are going to liberate. Okay? Opening wider, becoming more inclusive. Deeper expressions of faith that is rooted in a personal spirituality, a more customized spirituality. Y'all know I talk about that all the time. Okay? So be on the lookout for that. But we're going to see increasing divides. We're going to see that. We're going to see there will be a divide between fear-based faith and freedom-based faith. Oh, you like this? Thank you. Come on, spring. Yeah, I'm coming very spring. Okay? A divide between the leaders who exploit fear and the leaders who uplift the soul. So don't be surprised if you see folks calling people out, calling systems out. All right? That's no longer working. And that's harmful and oppressive. And if you have been feeling like there's something you're practicing, you're evolving, that is fear-based, that is fear-based, you're going to need to liberate yourself. Or you're going to experience something next month that you can't help but liberate yourself from. Okay? So all this faith, honey, that's built on performance, all this faith that's built on the patriarchy, all this faith that's built on profit will not be able to stand that earthquake. Clock that. Clock that at 100 miles per hour. All right? If we're here, we're tracking, we're understanding, we're taking note. Just drop a word, drop an emoji, drop something in the comments so I know. Because we come with the information today. All right. Very good, very good, very good. Okay. Very good. So now, allow for us to talk about how this 9 universal energy and this 5 universal month is going to impact our health. All right. 5 is connected to the nervous system. Okay. 5 also has its connection with the respiratory system and mobility, because 5 is moving. All right. So the systems in the body that is related to movement, breath, circulation, and nerves. Movement, breath, circulation, and nerves. The body's going to become a mirror of your need for freedom and change. So don't be surprised if there are things that you've been avoiding and they kick up physically or health-wise for you next month. Because that non-universal energy says, baby, we're going to have to address this. We're going to have to complete this. This is a loose end that we're going to have to tie up. Okay? And this is also a great month for you to make a change. Okay? If you need to make a change to your diet, to your exercise, to whatever, Universal Month 5 is an excellent time for you to do that. All right? So do it. So you can capitalize off that energy. 5, as I said, rules the nervous system. And we know the nervous system is the wiring of our bodies. So people will feel a heightened anxiety. People will feel a restlessness, struggling, standing still, or concentrating. Folks will experience insomnia, hyperactivity, you may see an increase in like teeth grinding, muscles twitching, or irritability, which is all warning signs that the body is not stable and you need to ground yourself. All right? You said, I just found out today my life path and destiny is the number 5. Oh, and there you have it. So you right, this is the perfect time for you to be paying attention. So 5 is going to be strong. You know, that's all connected to you. Okay? So be mindful of that. Mobility and accident risk. Y'all, this year in a number 5 and a number 9 month, baby, pay your insurance, pay your car insurance, okay? Do your protection work on your cars. Do your protection work on you, because that 5 universal month is going to stir motion. So people will literally start moving faster, reacting faster, and be physically impulsive. So anything you could think of that will happen from you moving too quickly, falls, sprains, bones breaking, travel-related injuries, car accidents because people are being distracted or speeding, accidents from being clumsy because they're rushing, slipping and falling, all of that is connected to the 5. So I'm sorry, Natasha. I see you're a nurse. Your patients, you're an active fool. You have no clue how protection work works. Okay. Natasha, let's book a root work consultation. And I could walk through and give you some things to do, and I could help you with that. If you go to link in my bio, you'll find book and root work consultation. We could talk it out. You also find folks being injured from overexerting themselves. Okay? From doing stuff too fast. So how do we combat this? Mindfulness, flexibility, right? We're going to stretch. We're going to take our time. We're going to move with focus, because moving without focus, your body going to make you stop in a hard way. Now, TikTok be doing this puzzle thing where you gotta slide it to fit an image to see if you still on. Okay. All right. Also, pay attention to the respiratory system, breathing issues. Okay. Pay attention to that. So, high emotional pressure can also cause you to have tightness, shortness of breath, shallow breathing. So, you want to breathe. If you're upset, you got to do your breath work before you have a panic attack. And if you are living in areas where it's polluted, where it's crowded, or it's high stress, you may see an increase just in the environment of people with respiratory flare-ups. So asthma, bronchitis, sinus pressures. Okay? So you want to be mindful of that. I also will let you know that emotional repression, repressing, holding back your emotions, will manifest as choking, coughing, or tension in the throat or the lungs. So you got to release. Be ye liberated. But you see how repression is working against the 5 energy, which is liberation, which is freedom, which is movement. You see that? I don't know why I missed this. 9 is also Egon. I did not know that. Thank you for that. I didn't see that. Okay? So, mental health, right? It's the 5, y'all. That's the panic attacks. That's the decision fatigue. That's the emotional burnout. That is the sensitivity. So you got to know that you run the risk of being hyper reactive. You got to know that you run the risk of being hypersensitive. So you got to make sure that you're doing your work to center yourself, to ground yourself, that you are doing what you need to do to protect your ori, to calm your head. Okay, because that 5 energy is rapidly moving. Okay, and so if we go further and we talk about how, with all of this that's happening, how do we take better care of the body? First thing you need to do is ground your nervous system. So that's daily grounding practices. Breath work, go outside, touch grass, stretch. Okay? You want to limit your caffeine. Peace. Hey, everybody. Having connection issues. Have to keep going in now. My apologies. No problem. You can watch the live back on YouTube because I'm live on there. Limit your caffeine. If social media stresses you out, limit your social media. And also limit sugar. Cut back on sugar. Okay? This is how we're going to care for the body. Protect your mobility. Slow down. Stretch. Don't rush. Stay present. Okay? You're going to want to support your breath and your lungs. That's why the allergies is wearing people out. And it's going to really wear them out in May. So do your deep breathing exercise in the morning and at nighttime. And also take your mullein, take your eucalyptus, take your peppermint. You take the herb, have the essential oil, drink the tea, whatever you got to do. All right, but make sure, especially if you are someone who has asthma, all right, or battles with lung issues, or you're highly sensitive to allergies, okay? You also want to strengthen your mind, strengthen your mental resistance. That 5 is liberation, right? Strengthen your mental resilience. We know how to set boundaries, or we hear about boundaries emotionally, but what about digital boundaries? You need to schedule you some unplugged time next month. Meditate. Get off social media. Or change your algorithm. Look up a whole bunch of positive stuff so that that could be in your algorithm. Okay? And last but not least, you want to ground your energy. Well, I talked about that a little bit, but grounding the self, but also grounding the energy field. So that means you can carry crystals that are grounding, black tourmaline, obsidian, hematite. You can also anoint your body with protective oil. So if you make you a good old protection oil, um, put that on yourself. Anoint your head, anoint your hands, anoint your shoes. Okay? Got it? That's going to help us stay well, stay centered, and stay healthy. All right? I want to talk about career things, stuff related to the job for next month. I told y'all this is going to be, we got a lot of information I got to get through. Okay? A lot of information, but it's all good. All good. Because guess what? If you are prepared, you can prevent. If you are prepared, you can align. You're prepared, you can capitalize. Okay? So 5 is going to bring pivots to career. 5 is going to bring pivot to job changes, promotions, firings, and also sudden opportunities. All right? So if you need to shake some rocks and blow some smoke because you want to get a promotion, you should do that for your month, for this May energy. Okay? Thank you so much. Because that 5 is coming to interrupt stagnation. Okay? So it's either going to free you if you let it, or force you, depending upon if you are clinging to like a false sense of stability. So you may get your life rocked if you holding on to a job because you scared to lean in another direction. You may be shook up. Okay? Thank you. Oh, y'all like the earrings? Thank you. I was meant to be on your live because I just received a job interview on a new unit. Thank you. Good, 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 good. And I'm telling you, that's the energy, right? So we're gonna get into capitalizing off of that, so everything can go how it should go. Thank you. Y'all like these? You have to be particular when you're getting accessories because sometimes you look at them, you like, child, these things look wore out. But I appreciate this with this pink look. Thank you. Not too much, just enough. Okay. So everywhere is going to experience some career pivots, y'all. People are going to either find themselves walking away from old roles, sometimes because they've had deep spiritual clarity, other times because they're being impulsive, they don't have a plan. In the same way, we got job offers, Natasha, because you're in the shadow period of that number 5 month. Sudden job offers or opportunities are going to appear. So that's jobs, clients, collaborations, maybe even brand new industries that we wasn't even thinking about coming to the forefront when we least expect it. All right. All of that is happening. A great time for the entrepreneur also. Great time for the artist, great time for the healer. Because if they are adaptable, bold, consistent, they will be successful. All right? So this is a season for niche markets, mobile services, right? If you can bring it to people and people ain't got to go through the traditional route, things that are real creative, independent paths, they all will start to explode next month because people are craving freedom from the way that they normally do things. And all this change this month is going to be crucial, y'all, because after the number 9 year is up, we're in the number 1, which is a new start, a new beginning. So you can already be on that train. This is that. Let me also tell you this. Those who are resisting flexibility will feel the heat first. So if you are an entrepreneur or if you're a manager, you're a supervisor, CEO, whatever you do, lean into adaptability or you're going to be going through it next month. Even if you don't got to be an owner, if you wherever you work as an employee, be adaptable. Choose adaptability or you're going to feel the heat next month. Okay? Be adaptable. Learn some new skills. Don't skip out on new trainings. All right? Lean into it. You're going to find that that's going to be helpful for you. Okay? Be mindful of the scams next month. Be mindful of the scams. Get rich schemes. Risky investments. We're not doing that next month. Wait till April. Wait till April. Because discernment is key. Listen to your Ori is key because every open door is not a way out. It could be a way into a locked room. I mean, April, what's the May? June, excuse me. Wait till June, excuse me. Not April, wait till June. Don't do it in May. Okay? And I want you to pay attention to how you witness people who start to make content and talk about rethinking wealth. If you've been having that conversation in your group, you're right in alignment. If you've been having that conversation with your friends, you're right in alignment. Wealth, the definition of wealth is getting ready to change and be challenged next month. Because wealth is not just going to be material accumulation. So you have a lot of money is not going to be seen as wealth. So start those conversations in your circle. Like, what else is wealthy? We must be open. I just had this conversation earlier today with one of my best friends. We must be open to the many ways that abundance can present itself to us. All right? So you want to be adaptable when it comes to the finances and to your career. Those who bend will thrive. Those who harden, stifle, are rigid, don't want to learn nothing, don't want to expand, They're going to snap. The movements you make sure that they are grounded. The financial decisions you make, I don't care if they're bold or not, make sure they're grounded. Not just emotional leaps. You felt good and so now you invest all your money in this. No. Okay? There will also be a valuing of over the skills, skills over your title. So you may not have the title to do a specific thing, but you lead with your skills and you will find that you will be the most qualified for it. Okay? And understand that true wealth is who you are, not just what you own. Okay? So that means you're going to update your skills. You're going to go study some things. Okay? You're going to update that resume. All right? Cross-train. Learn some more, network beyond your current circles. Look into some side hustles. Okay? Streams of income. Because the gigs, the side hustles, the creative work, all of that is blessed in a 5 month. So you want to lean into that. And do your best in your spaces to be the problem solver, not the problem causer. Okay? Bring the solutions. So no, don't you just quit your job impulsively. Have a plan next month. You trying to quit your job, get your plan together. Because if you do not have your plan together, dear God in heaven, don't cling to those titles and the job security illusions. Adaptability will be the new stability. And last, don't ignore your gut. If there is a business deal, if there's a job offer, if there's investment that just feels wrong, May is not the month to see how it plays out. Here's the key difference. It's not your gut if you start thinking about the past. That's your mind. So if an opportunity comes up, you're like, see, well, I don't know if I should do it because the last time I did this, or, I don't think I've ever been good at. That's your mind. That's not the spirit. But if a job opportunity comes up, you're like, yes, I'm excited. I want to go for this. And then you get a feeling like something's wrong. That's the spirit. Okay? We tracking? Come on, we're an hour and 14 minutes in, baby. We're getting some good information. All right? So we done talked about the world, the government, finances, career, health. Let's talk about it as it pertains to you as an individual, your personal life, your emotions, your spirit. Okay? May of this year, the energy of personal freedom will rise to the surface. We've already been talking about this with this liberation energy. So here you go. Routines that felt comforting will start to feel oppressive. Habits, daily structures, roles that you once upheld may now start to feel like they dragging you down. Bag lady, you gonna hurt your back. Dragging all them bags like that. Okay? Naturally, so you're gonna want to make some changes and lean into those changes. Be open to making shifts and changes. It's going to bring a pressure to the relationship because where there have been imbalances, power struggles, resentment, unequal love, the cracks are going to widen. So this means we run the risk of breakups. We run the risk of dissolving friendships. We run the risk of family fallouts. Speedy family fallouts. Speedy ends and dissolutions. Okay? So less big blow ups and more non-negotiable exits. And guess what? We're going to understand. We're going to say this, that number 5 energy at work. And in the number 9 year, I know that it's because it's fulfilled its purpose. Okay? And here's the other thing. A lot of us will also feel a strong pull to relocate, a strong pull to travel. Or if you're not moving, you're just going to change your environment, change things around. And let's say the relocation is not physical. Let's say the relocation is internal. Changing of your thinking, changing of your habits, changing of your social circles will be undeniable. So if you've been thinking about changing some stuff up, relocating, moving, all that, you've been like, it's going to be undeniable, whether you should or should not next month. So that 5 energy is intense, y'all. So when in your emotions, expect to be sensitive. So expect to have to ask more questions instead of just being reactive. Expect there to be emotional triggers that are faster and stronger. So you have to make sure that you're grounding yourself, you're centering yourself. Otherwise, the wells of the anger, the grief, the frustration that has been quietly building over the months or the years or the decades will burst. So it's better for you to take control of it and have the conversation you need to have. Release what you need to release. Say what you need to say. Text what you need to text. Write what you need to write. Then you try to hold on, because when you get to this next month, it's going to come across wrong because you're going to be an exploded. It's going to be an explosion. It's going to have exploded. Okay? This even means with your relationship partners. And we're just going to say this. If you want to do something freaky, okay, if you want to spice some things up, do something different, communicate that. Because your long suppressed desires are going to come up to the surface. Okay? As such, as is your partners. So you need to talk to your partner and say, listen, is there anything you want to share with me? And don't make it accusatory. Okay? But be like, listen, let's start with what my desires are that I've been nervous to say, so let me tell you. So you can tell me your desires. But separate from the sexual space, dreams, ambitions, things you've been longing for that you've buried underneath obligation and duty will break through and demand your attention. Okay? So be mindful of that. And because, y'all, this energy is so chaotic and so intense and so shifty, we must discern the difference between impulse and intuition. Not every urge is as an instruction for you. So the Spirit's going to be sending clear signs. But your emotions may try to rush you. And we already talked about trying to rush will cause you to crash. The difference is Spirit will feel aligned, will feel calm, while impulse will feel chaotic and loud. Okay? That's next month. All right? So prepare for them contracts, them soul contracts. That's what people call it. Soul contracts with the people, you know, the old cycles and all that. Expect that to be interrupted because that's going to be interrupted. Okay? Because freedom is going to be at the forefront. All right? So here is some soul work for this month of May. What are your favorite manifestation practices using the 4 elements? For example, I'm manifesting business success. Would you use earth or water, a new home, love? Does it really depend? How do you know what elements you need? Well, I would look at your natal chart and see where the dominant planets are, and thus the elements that are connected with those dominant planets. Because those will let you know which are the most powerful for you astrologically. That's what I do. So if you got a whole bunch of water, use the water. You got a whole bunch of earth, use the earth. Fire, use fire. Air, use air. At least that's what I do. All right? Here's the soul work. I want you to ask yourself some honest questions. Where have I chosen comfort over freedom? Where have I chosen comfort over freedom? Hey, Manda. Here's another thing. What cages have I decorated instead of dismantled? What cages have I decorated instead of dismantled? No, Amanda, come back in here, baby. Third question I want you to ask yourself. Who benefits from me staying small and who suffers? Who benefits from me staying small and who suffers? Okay? Hey, highest fairy. Those 3 questions. Where have I chosen comfort over freedom? What cages have I decorated instead of dismantling? And who benefits from me staying small? And who suffers? So we must accept next month when cycles are finished without the guilt. Stop taking an end as a betrayal. Endings are not betrayals. Not when spirit is the gatekeeper. Spirit closed the door. That's not a betrayal. Only the necessary occurs. Next month, you must practice a radical flexibility and be willing to reimagine who you are and what you are capable of quickly. You want to be brave enough next month to let those old, raggedy, rundown, rusty cages break down and break open. You outgrown the cage. Some cages we outgrow. Others we got to break open. Some cages we put ourselves in. Some cages others have put ourselves in. Pay attention to that. And know that freedom isn't about running from something. Freedom is about running toward the life that you were actually meant to live. Not what I'm running from. What am I running toward? Okay? Now, you know I won't be the good hoodoo man that I am if I didn't give y'all some roots, some rituals, some things to work for yourself this month. First, I would suggest you do yourself a road opening bath. The purpose of a road opening is to bring the opportunities forward, spiritually, physically, and sweeten your journey. So you can take you some road opener herbs. See, I'm in San Antonio, so we have a Latinx flair. So there's some herbs and stuff that we will use in Texas that you may not use where you are. So I'm going to tell you mine. Abre Camino. ABRECAMINO. That translates to road opener. Take you some Abre Camino. Take you some orange peel. Orange peel brings joy, brings abundance, and also attraction. And take you some lemongrass, be it the herb, the essential oil. Be mindful of essential oils, they be strong. Okay? Lemongrass helps to clear away confusion and negativity. Also do some eucalyptus. Eucalyptus can cut through as well. All you have to do is brew you a bath tea. You take those herbs, you put that in the orange peel, the oregano, the lemongrass, you put that in a pot, you let that cook, boil, okay? Speak over it, pray over it, and then strain it, and then pour it into your bathtub, your bath water, okay? Pray over, speak over your life, speak over your opportunities, okay? And air dry if possible, because you don't want to wipe away all your work, okay? I'd also suggest you making you a mojo bag. Make you a mojo bag with some high john. High john is protection, is power, is victory, but high john specifically protects you while traveling. Put some high john with some ginger. Ginger helps speed up and add energy to a work. It's a spice, speeds up, and add you a bay leaf. You can write on the bay leaf to protect your journey, to sweeten your opportunities, okay, to bless bold actions. And you can put you some sugar in there, okay? Or you can put some honey, or if you don't got that, put you some dates. That's going to help with the sweetening, okay? Or some candy, okay? That's going to help sweeten it. So you can carry your bag, keep your mojo bag in your purse, keep it in your backpack, keep it with you when you're applying for jobs. If you're going to an interview, you're making big moves, you're traveling, keep that mojo bag. And let's say you don't want to do all that and you just said, you know, Darcell, I'm not really into all that. Well, then let's just keep the 5 energy flowing appropriately. Stretch for 5 minutes every morning. Loosen the body so that energy can flow freely. Walk outside. Go for a 5-minute walk. You ain't got much time. You got 5 minutes. Walk around outside for 5 minutes. Movement. Okay? And let's bring some joy back. Laugh. Dance for 5 minutes. Put on your favorite song and get a moving. Okay? Simple daily practices to stay in alignment with that. So, I'm going to just tell you this. May is not for the weak-hearted. It is for the bold, because it's the number 5 energy. The spirit is going to be offering ways up and ways out. But you got to choose it. You got to choose the freedom. Okay? You got to trust the plot twist. Clutch your pearls, do all that, but trust it. Move when the spirit moves you. Say yes to the opportunities that appear. And don't be scared if it feels bigger than you, because it is. That's the divine. Okay? All right. Let's open the floor for questions. I done said all I need to say. We should be well prepared for May. But I'll open the floor to questions. Questions on topic. Y'all be like, now what'd you think about jumping timelines? Now, let's not talk about jumping timelines. Oh, how could I forget? Wait, hold on, wait a minute. Hold up. I almost forgot. Let me share my screen. Refresh. Boom. So, a long time ago, I mean a long time ago, I used to do this. I used to call them energy birth ceremonies. Energy birth ceremonies were simply community workings where I would involve other folks in. I would give people the opportunity to be a part of the working. I have renamed it and it's called For the People. Okay? For the people. This is my community service. You see, a root worker doesn't just service themselves, they also service the community. All right? So, this is the For the People for May 2025. I'm doing my Waymaker working, which is a combination of the root work, of a road opener, but it's a blockbuster as well. Blockbuster breaks through all of the blockages, all of the things that are in the way. The road opener opens the paths. Make sure those doors are unlocked so when you turn the knob, it'll open up. So this is a collective road opening. Done. Let me read what it says on here. Hold on. Done for everyone who's ready to clear the blocks, bless the pivot, and step into freedom. Because that's that 5 energy. All right? And so this will be taking place May 5th. So if you want to be a part of it, it's $25 to be a part of it. All right? Why 25? Because I'm intentional. 5 times 5 is 25. So we want to multiply your opportunities by 5. Okay? We need to multiply the abundance by 5. All right? And so it'll be taking place May 5th. And when you order it, so you go to link in my bio for those on TikTok. Those on YouTube, you can go to theinnerlighthouse.store, or I have it in my description. It's under the Conjure Kitchen. All right. Once you place that order or schedule the service, what's gonna happen is it's gonna give me your information, or email, and all that stuff, so I'll be able to send you the update when I'm either going live with it or send you the videos and the pictures and so forth and so on. So this will be for me to include your name and your intention into the working. Okay? And so I will be doing this for all the energies of every month. So we'll have one for next month. Well, next month is May, but one for 6, so June. Another one for July, right? So we can make sure that we are involved in this energy. And I'm doing this on 5/5. Okay? So there's a method here. Okay? There's an organization to the root work. Okay? So if you want to participate in that, that is available. So go ahead and get involved with that. Okay. Now back to the questions. What questions we got? Mm, 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 mm. Oh, ask the question up here. Mm-hmm. It's too far back. I can't see it. Okay. We don't have any questions. I guess y'all got all the information, all the things y'all needed. Great. Sounds good. Go forth, conquer, do the right thing. Okay? Be well to yourself, be well for and to others. All right. I'll talk to everyone later. Peace. You can watch the playback on YouTube. All right, y'all. Bye.